Gentlemen, ladies, good day, good morning, good afternoon, or indeed perhaps good evening. Welcome. My name is Edmund Warner, Esquire. Educated at Harrow, then very briefly at King's College, London, before deciding to return back to the family home, Warner Manor. My purpose? To upkeep the estate and also the imperial lineage of the Warner family. Now, Father and I recently had a discussion about what our noble house could do to help the community, and after pooh-poohing a few of his more hands-on ideas, I have decided that it would be of most benefit to you, the people, to hear readings from my diary. Yes, most of you are not aristocracy, or even upper class for that matter, but I do think that being kept abreast of my daily routines and ventures will at least make you feel partly involved in my life, even though you definitely are not. But please, I do not want you to think one was born with a proverbial silver spoon in one's mouth. Although, for my christening, I was actually given a silver spoon from Queen Victoria's collection. But I digress. Life was not always like this for our family. From humble beginnings, my mother made her own way in the world. A family of 4, squashed into a poky 8-bedroom country home. For my mother, life was not easy. It was only when she married my father did she become acquainted with the life of the gentry, and she certainly instilled that firm grounding of humbleness and humility in my good self. Hence why now I want to give something back. So get comfortable, relax. If you do not have visitors, then indulge oneself to repose upon a nearby Chesterfield or Davenport. Have your servant boil the kettle, or, as is most likely in your case, just boil it yourselves, and delight in a cup of Her Majesty's finest tea, whilst enjoying the Diary of Edmund Warner. For ease, my manservant Baxter will be holding said diary up for me to read. Right, we'll obviously lower Baxter, otherwise I'm going to be tilting my head up. No, look, put it in line with the video capturing device. Yes, right, hold it there. Sunday. Dear Diary, I write this entry after a somewhat curtailed morning. Yes, the nights are indeed drawing in earlier as the winter solstice is upon us, but what I actually refer to is a rather late start to the morning on my account. Usually, one declares bed for oneself at 7:30 p.m, to be woken by my manservant Baxter at 7:27 a.m, allowing myself a good 3 minutes of waking up time, following my 12-hour nap. However, this morning Baxter was away because one of his family was ill, I think. I didn't care for the details. So without the wake-up call, yours truly ended up stuck in the land of Nod until 7:45. It was only when I heard the familiar cascade of hot tea upon fine china that I eventually surfaced. As I entered the dining hall, Father japed, "Good afternoon!" I have to declare it was the most whimsical ejaculation. Father is quite the card. He then said that with Baxter away, we won't be able to take the helicopter to St. Paul's Cathedral today. Well, clearly my extended slumber was an ill omen of things to come. I was really hoping Baxter's family member was feeling bally well afflicted, because his absence was proving a real nuisance. Oh well, one must not let these trials get the better of oneself. Father recanted one of our famous sayings, "Qui juedes humilis es." A humble man is a true man. Then we climbed into the Bentley. The journey was tense. Being without the helicopter meant the risk of not getting front row seats in the cathedral was increasingly high. I mean, how can one commune with the Lord from the back row, for goodness sake? Matters were not helped when we arrived in London to find a blocked road. Apparently some left-wing hippie Euro apologists were holding a protest. I wanted us to just jolly well mow them down, but Father opted against it. I suppose blood on the Bentley does not present the best image for the Warner name, and as we remember from the horse incident, frightfully tricky cleaning to boot. My sister Amelia did lighten the mood by discussing her application for the study. I'm sorry, chaps. I'm laughing just reading this. Right. My sister Amelia lightened the mood by discussing her application for the study of medicine. She remained brilliantly deadpan as I joked about the notion of a female doctor. Father even joined in and said she was actually applying. The old boy really was on form today. Amelia gave the game away though. I said the only medical role worthy of a woman is a nurse, and then she started crying. Ah, so close, but those tears of laughter broke the illusion. Mother then quipped, "Apologise, Edmund, that was not a nice thing to say. What hilarity." Upon arrival, we discovered the front row had indeed been occupied, but we simply had the occupants moved. Those bishops really did not want to budge. I felt like a brave knight at a game of chess, casting the bishops aside and declaring war on the Queen, or vicar in this case. Not that the vicar was a woman, heaven forbid. Although saying that, the sermon might as well have been led by a woman with the nonsense that was spouted. You know, I am sick and tired of the turn the other cheek Jesus we hear about these days. I want the Jesus who caused an uproar at the temple, not the one who helped the poor and befriended the working class. This is hardly a fitting lesson to pass on to the aspiring gentry of tomorrow. Aside from the sermon, the service was delightful as ever. Well, apart from the altar assistant forgetting my separate communion cup again, I almost drank from the same cup as everyone else, dear listeners. We also had a close call during the offering of peace. It is an unwritten rule that the rest of the congregation should not approach us. We only offer peace to each other, you see, and maybe some of the higher-ranking bishops. However, one brutish little profligate did approach us, and Father had the temerity to offer his hand, with intent to shake. If it were me, I'd have boxed his ears in. And he was about to approach yours truly, but as if by divine intervention, the organist started up, so the ghastly pauper had to return to his seat. Never had the timing of the hymn, "My Jesus, my Saviour," been more apt. I certainly felt saved by him in that moment. Look, there is not much left, Baxter. Just put your arms over the chair or something. After a spiritual morning, it was time to rest and recuperate in the afternoon. If truth be told, the close call with the communion cup and the overly familiar vagrant had rather taken its toll on my dear self, so I was not quite up to inspecting the grounds. I called Baxter in and told him to do it instead, as a matter of urgency. Funnily enough, as I pen these final passages, Mother has popped in to wish me a good night and informed me Baxter was actually at his mother's funeral today. Why he needed the whole morning off work is beyond me. I mean, Baxter is elderly himself, so goodness knows how old his mother was. Her demise could hardly have come as a surprise. Anyway, the main thing is that the grounds were inspected. As the evening drew in, I sat down with a nice cup of Earl Grey, turned on the television, and lost myself in an absolute corker about Samuel Pepys. I eventually drifted off, and after a 2-hour nap, woke up at the insensible hour of 6:30 p.m. So I have had just enough time to write up today's events, but as 7:30 fast approaches, this gentleman is going to declare himself officially tuckered out, and certainly ready for a good night's sleep. Well, thank you for listening. And now, as you two settle down for the evening in whatever squalid environment you currently inhabit, I pray you take courage and strength in the knowledge that I look forward to sharing more diary entries with you in the near future. Have a peaceful and restful evening, if circumstance permits. Good night.